Welcome back to Way of the Wrench, and on today's very special episode we are going to be revealing the theme for our big budget build here, and I'm going to be showing you how to put the vinyl artwork on our melamine cabinet. Sweet, let's go! So first off, I'm going to try to make this video nice and short and sweet for you guys with everything you need to know, just in a condensed format. If you are looking for something that has absolutely everything you need to know and in massive amounts of detail, I will post a link above for the video that I did the vinyl artwork for our budget build, which was the Tales of the Arabian Nights cabinet. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Now, for this video, it's going to be very similar, but very slight changes. We are doing a melamine flat pack cabinet this time, and if you haven't watched the video on how to prep this cabinet and get it ready for vinyl, I'll put another link to another video above so that you can go ahead and watch that so you know what we did ahead of time before we started doing the vinyl. So I guess it's time to start revealing the theme. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I always struggle with trying to figure out what I'm permanently going to put for artwork on a arcade or a virtual pinball cabinet, because there's so many cool options and so many games that you love. So what do you end up putting on here? Now, I went with something that's true and classic for me, and I thought it'd be kind of fun if we did some kind of fun little game here. I'm going to start giving you some hints on what the theme is, and so those of you that know your pinball cabinets, you might be able to play along here and go, oh, I know what it is, and then you can see what the answer is after. So what I was thinking is I would just drop some hints as I talk here and see if you can figure it out. So for today's film, I thought I would... Did you tell him it's going to be Creature from the Black Lagoon? Oh. Well, we're going to play some pinball soon? Yeah, thank you very much. I've told you before, we don't have time to play pinball. We'll do it later. I got to get this thing built and then we can play some more, okay? Sorry, bud. Yeah, so it's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Thank you very much, clone. You can see my Creature artwork here. It's been hanging for a couple of days to try to help straighten it out so I don't have to fight the coiling up of it when I'm doing my vinyl artwork. And yeah, so I went with Creature because it's a classic title. Everybody knows it. Everybody wants it too. It's a very popular table. I remember playing it in the 90s a lot, and I remember it being a very easy table to start off with. So it's a good beginner table. The rule set's pretty easy. Make the shots, spell film, start up the 2-ball multi-ball, make the 3 shots to find where the lady, the girl is that you're rescuing, and get your jackpot. Yet, this is a very good game for advanced players because once you've got the table figured out, you can try to make these shots time and time again and build up that pop bumper jackpot value, and then hit that left shot during the multi-ball for spelling Creature and get that multiplier up, and it's very easy to get in the billions of points if you can nail all that. So it's a good beginner and advanced table. And it's also one of the only tables that I know of that is a theme inside of a theme. So yes, it is Creature of the Black Lagoon movie, but it's also set at a drive-in theater. So it's got all that kind of cool stuff going on for artwork too. So highly recommend it. Now, this artwork is being sponsored for this build from Derek at Woodstock Custom Arcades in Canada. And I cannot recommend this guy enough. He is willing to go that extra little mile, fix the artwork things that you need to have fixed for custom applications. And for example, the front panel needed to have some buttons changed and some things moved around so it looked okay. I asked him personally to get rid of the Universal Studios logo because I might do some custom side armor, and that was kind of in the way. So that's done for me, and couldn't ask for a better job. Stuff looks great. So if you need any kind of vinyl artwork for your arcade cabinet or your virtual pinball cabinet, why don't you check out Woodstock Custom Arcades. And until the end of 2024, if you use the Way of the Wrench, WOTW, all uppercase, as a discount code on his website, you will have 10% off of your orders. So very cool. Thank you for doing that as well, Derek. All right, now that we've got it figured out with what we're doing here, let's start applying this, and we're going to start with the front panel because that makes it easier for the sides to line up. One last thing before you start applying your vinyl is that I would take 5 or 10 minutes and try all the legs and the plunger base and the coin door and all your buttons to make sure that everything fits okay, because if you put your vinyl artwork on and find that you need to drill some holes or do anything, it's going to be a lot harder trying not to damage your vinyl artwork. So when I did that, I found that my launch ball button has a little little boss that sticks out the back, and it requires a little hole at the top for that boss to go in, and so that way if this button gets loose and turns, you don't have the words launch ball being kind of put at an angle. So that needs to be done, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of paint, probably something even just white out, and put it on the end of the bosses. Put it how you want it, make sure it's lined up, and then just touch it against the cabinet. And wherever those little bosses with the white out touch the cabinet, that's where we're going to center drill just partially through the cabinet, just deep enough for the bosses to go into, and then we'll have that fixed up and ready for vinyl. So make sure you go ahead and do that. First up, we're going to take some isopropyl rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle format, and we're going to take a microfiber cloth. We're going to clean this area, make sure there's no oils or dust or anything on here. Okay, then we're going to take our front panel vinyl here, and we're going to have to try to center it left and right and up and down and make sure that our buttons are exactly, everything's where we want it to be. Now, this is going to shift all over the place and not really want to stay put if we just touch it. So what we're going to do is I took a heavy piece of metal and wrapped it up in a nice cloth so that I can kind of make it stay put. That way you can still kind of move it, but it'll stay put when you want to try to do this. Okay, and then you can use a flashlight or just a nice bright flashlight on your phone, and you're going to do the little trick where if you go underneath the vinyl, you can actually see the edge of the cabinet, and that way you can help you center it and get it lined up exactly how you want it. Okay, if you need to, go ahead and shut the lights off. It'll really, really make it easy to be able to see where all your button placements are and the edges of your vinyl through even this black stuff. And don't kid yourself, take your time. Take 15, 20 minutes, get this exactly how you want it. That way it'll be exactly where you put it. Okay, once you've got it placed exactly where you want, you're gonna get yourself some painter's tape, and you're gonna tape it roughly halfway down the center to the side so this thing won't shift. If you need to, you can kind of make a slice down the side here just to get that tape to be able to hold it down a little better. Watch you don't cut up into your vinyl. Before you start here, do one final check with the light. Make sure nothing is shifted, everything's exactly how you want it. And just to be uber safe, I'm going to put a second strip of tape here just to make sure this thing doesn't shift at all. Now, in case I didn't mention it, I am doing a dry method for applying this because I don't want to use any water on here, because underneath that laminate is a 16th layer of MDF, and I'm not worried about the water getting through the laminate. I'm worried about the edges getting wet, and then MDF, if you ever got it wet, you'll know what I'm talking about. It puffs up and swells up, and it'll ruin all the edges of this. So I am using a dry method for this. Okay, when you're ready here, you're going to peel this back. Okay, and watch you don't get it stuck to anything, but you're going to peel back about halfway here. And then what you're going to do is take an X-Acto blade or a razor blade, and we're going to cut this back. And then before we do this, we're going to do one more cleaning. Just make sure there's no dust, there's nothing that we've put from cutting that backing off. That's going to get underneath our vinyl here. Okay, give it a second, make sure that alcohol's all dried up, and then you're going to need yourself a felt-lined squeegee. For everything I'm using today, I will put links so that you can find them quick and easy in the video description. Okay, and what you're going to do is kind of just gently pull up and away and kind of lay it at an angle slowly, and as you're going along, you're going to want to use the squeegee to kind of just make sure it sticks down. Now, it can be a little awkward because you're doing this yourself, so it is useful to have another person. And I noticed that over the coin door that kind of it can sag a bit, so really try to make sure that it's somewhat tight. And then just slowly squeegee it out, and if you see any bumps or imperfections or something stuck in the vinyl underneath it, all you gotta do is peel it back, clean it out, start again. Okay, this is looking great. So I've got a little wrinkle here. Like I said, it's because of the coin door sagging a bit. So if that happens, just peel it back carefully. Get that imperfection out. And then this time maybe focus in the center a little bit, put a little bit of tension on it So that way you don't have that sag to worry about. Okay, and then just work your way along, nice and slow and steady. And if you look at kind of different angles in the light, you can really see if there's any kind of imperfections or problems so that you can fix them as you go. Okay, and I can't tell if this is a little bit easier because of the slight texture of the laminate, but definitely no air bubbles at all. Perfect. Just give another final look. Make sure you've gone all the way to the edges and you got no issues. And if you do see anything, like I said, just peel it back. And another little trick is if there is just a little air bubble, you can take the tip of an X-Acto blade, pop a little hole just right in the center of it, and then you can squeegee out that air bubble and push it down, and in most cases it completely hides that. Okay, once you've done that half, all you're going to do is you're going to transfer your weight over. It's probably not even needed, but it's somewhere to put it for the time being. And then we're going to very carefully and slowly take off your painter's tape. And now that one side is stuck down, it should not shift on you at all. Like I said, just go nice and slow with the painter's tape so you don't accidentally lift up anything. As long as you don't leave this painter's tape for days on end, it should come off very easy. Okay, and now we just have to do the same thing on the other side. So lift this up, and you can go ahead and peel off the rest of the backing. Okay, now I like to peel back about 1/2 inch, just in case there's anything stuck in there. To do the isopropyl alcohol again, make sure the surface is for sure 100% clean, no debris, no lint. All right, here we go. Put some nice tension on it. Try to hold it from the center so that over where the coin door gap, there's some tension. All right, now that is all down, so take a final look. Like I said, look against the light reflections to see if there's any bubbles, anything that needs fixed, and take care of that. Okay, at this point, you want to get yourself a nice sharp new X-Acto blade, and rather than going hacksawing through this, hold it at an angle, put the edge of the blade against the side of the cabinet, and then just kind of slice it, and try to do this all in one cut, that way you have a nice clean cut. Okay, next thing up is if you leave this vinyl right to the edge, what's going to happen over the long run is your hands or your clothing are going to rub against that vinyl edge, and it's going to very slowly start kind of picking it up and lifting it up, and eventually you'll have a loose edge. So, and the other thing that happens is this is a nice black vinyl color, but when you cut it, you can actually see the thickness of the paper, which is white. So we want to be able to hide that, and we also want to prevent that from lifting. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure back about 1 millimeter or 2, make a nice straight cut along the edge and peel off 1 millimeter or 2 of the vinyl. And then when we're all done that, we're going to seal that edge and cover up that white paper part with a oil-based paint pen. Okay, and I don't think we need to do the top because the lockdown bar is going to go over that edge. So just the sides and the bottom. And we're going to do that paint pen process once we've done all the sides. Awesome. We're going to flip this on the side and I'll show you that. Okay, for the right side, it's basically the same thing, about the only difference is it's a little bigger, so it's a little harder to do. So I don't recommend doing the halfway point. Either do it in thirds or maybe even quarters. And I would start by applying the decal or decal to this side of the cabinet. That way it's a little bit easier. Okay, the other thing you can do is there's a triangle here that's not going to be used, and it might be kind of harder to do this with it. I don't recommend you cut super close to it. Leave yourself lots of room, but you can cut definitely away a bunch of this so that it makes it a little easier for yourself. Okay, this time it's a little bit easier because I don't have to line anything up with the front panel. It's just simply black edges. So it's just a matter of centering everything left and right, up and down, and making sure nothing's getting cut off. And then taper down. Okay, once again, I'm going to be taking a 1mm cut and peeling back that vinyl on the front, back, and bottom edges. And once again, we're going to be doing that oil-based paint pen to seal that in after. And I'm not going to do the top here because you've got that stainless playfield side trim that's going to cover that. And then once I've done that, off camera, I'm going to do the other side. It's exactly the same. So next time you see me, we'll be doing the back box. Okay, moving on to the back box here. Now, a couple things that I would like to mention is that If you've never done vinyl before, you may want to actually tackle the back box sides first because it's a smaller piece of vinyl. It'll be a little bit easier for you to manage. And if you find that that was really difficult to do it by yourself, I would highly, highly recommend you go get someone else to do the bigger vinyl for the main cabinet. Now, another thing that I want to mention is that it is very easy to get this set up wrong where you have the left on the right, depending on the pattern. Some are easier and harder to do that with. And God forbid, maybe even just not paying attention and you put it upside down. So really make sure that you know where this has got to be. So for me, the fin on the arm has to be to the back of the cabinet. So other than that, I'm going to basically just center the claw on the cabinet, make sure the belly is nice and parallel with the top edge, and do exactly the same process you saw in the main cabinet. So I'm going to just speed this up and you guys can watch it real fast. Oh my God, look at this beautiful thing. You know you've picked the right theme when you look at this and it makes you smile. Sick. All right, cool, we're on to the home stretch. Last thing to do is we're gonna take our oil-based paint pen in the color of your vinyl. So I'm gonna be using black. Make sure you give it a really good shake for a couple minutes, and I would dab it onto something else to make sure that the oil-based paint is flowing before you start. And then after that, the only trick is you just want the edge of the vinyl so that you're sealing it down, as well as covering up that white thickness of the paper or the vinyl decal, and blending it in with the paint that's already there. So just take your time, use your finger as a guide as you run it along so you can have a very nice, straight, true paint line. Beauty, that looks like money. So I don't know if you guys can see that on the video, but this is absolutely flawless looking. Beauty. From this angle, you can see what I've just completed, and that looks great, and you can see what we haven't done yet. So perfectly, flawlessly blends that in. Yeah, Creech is alive. What a beautiful looking set of vinyl here. Once again, thank you very much to Derek from Woodstock Custom Arcades in Ontario, Canada. If you're looking for vinyl and some custom kind of vinyl needs, go check him out. And while you're at it, why don't you even just check out what kind of Vpins he's making and arcade cabinets. He's got some amazing stuff. Also, don't forget, he has the 10% off any of your orders till the end of 2024. Just use WOTW, all uppercase, as a discount code. So once again, thank you very much, Derek. So this is done. Next up, probably maybe put some legs on and start putting some grounding cables in here, maybe do some T-molding. Who knows? You're just gonna have to stay tuned. And if you haven't already, why don't you join us on Instagram? That way you can see what's going on in the shop in between videos. Until next time, take it easy.